Alright, so now we have our functioning tic-tac-toe game, but we only have colors. So let's make this more of a traditional tic-tac-toe game using X's and O's. When we used Bootstrap, we had access to those glyph icons that we were able to use. In this case, I'm going to show you a new tool called Font Awesome. This is another really great library that exists out there for using icon fonts. And so you can see here that if we go to icons, we have a very, very large list of icons, far more than we had available to us with glyph icons. So what I'm going to do is search for an X icon. And you'll see here that there's one that says times. I'm going to click on that and you can see what it looks like, and they show you how to use it. So right here we're going to see that the way that we use Font Awesome is that we use a class, and FA stands for Font Awesome. FA-times is going to get us this X. So we can take this class and use it in our code. However, in order to use Font Awesome, we need to add Font Awesome to our project, which we can do with Bower. So let's go ahead and do Bower install Font Awesome -- save, and that will go ahead and install Font Awesome for us. If we go ahead and open Atom, you'll see now in our Bower folder that we also have Font Awesome available to us. So in order to use it, what we need to do is include it in our CSS. So I'm going to add it above our own CSS. And we need to open this folder to see what we need to include. So it's going to be Bower components / font - awesome / CSS. And then you'll see here that we have a couple options. So I'm going to use fontawesome.min.css, which is the minified version. And now if we go and just add those classes that we had, so let's add FA times to square 1 and refresh the page, you'll see that we have an X. Obviously right now it's not working the way that we want it to, but it is working, so we can see that that works. What we're going to do is let's go ahead and keep that there, and let's add some styles to this. So we need to add a circle as well. So let's go back to Font Awesome, go back into the icons and search for a circle. And there's this one here, which is the circle - O. That's FA circle - O. So let's grab that and let's put that on square 2. So this is really just to prove that it works, but let's also style this a little bit differently. So the way that Font Awesome works is that it's actually injecting content into your div. So you can see here that the content is this Unicode character here, which is not important what it looks like. We just need to style these. And so technically these are fonts. So we can center things with fonts by using text. Let's see, if we go into our CSS, we can come down to our square and do text align center. And if we refresh that, we'll see that the X and O go into the center of our div. We can also make them bigger. So let's make them larger with font size. Let's set it to 50 pixels. And that looks pretty good. You can also go in and style, you can style the X and O's to be different colors if you'd like. And because they're fonts, you're going to set the color just like you would setting the color of any regular text. But now let's bump them down a little bit. This is a little bit trickier because we're dealing with text inside of a div. And centering things can be a little bit challenging. But what we can do is add a padding top. And if we add a padding top, it's going to push this down. So let's try putting it down by 50 pixels. And you'll see that everything has elongated. And that's because we need to subtract 50 from our height over here. So this will actually end up being 69 pixels. And if we refresh this, you'll see it's not quite right. So we can probably go down to padding top 40, add another 10 pixels back, and that's looking a little bit better. We could probably do 35 and then put another 5 back in here, which would make it 84. And that looks pretty centered. So that's something you're just going to have to play around with, padding, and heights. If you want to maintain that perfect square, it's important to think about your math. You can inspect the element, look at what margin and padding are being added there. And you can also explore other ways to vertically center things. So what I'm going to do is actually get rid of both of these because we haven't been playing our game yet. And I'm just going to remove them from the board. Save that. And what we can do is get rid of our old X and O classes. So here we have X and O. If we want to use those classes that we just created, we can do fa-times and fa-circle O. This doesn't look as nice as using X and O, so we can fix this a little bit later, but for right now, let's go ahead and swap out all of these. And now we should not have any instance of X and O, but if we go back over here, we got rid of our X and O class, so the red and blue coloring should be gone. And now if we enter each of these squares, you'll see that we have perfect tic-tac-toe.